Hello everybody, Drake here with another video. I want to get my YouTube channel kind of up and going, so I think this is the right video to do it. I'm basically going to start pulling my engine out because I blew it up back in February. Blew it, was piston ring failure. The car by a previous owner was twin turboed and has seen better days. So I lost compression during a mid race, which I'll show right here. You can see all the smoke coming out of the exhaust and whatnot. And my car shoots flames, but not normally like that. So that was the engine basically going bye-bye. So I got a Gen 3 short block. I'm going to build and port my Gen 2 heads. And then, yeah, it'll be a Gen 2.5 basically. Gen 3 bottom end, Gen 2 top end, like heads and whatnot. Gen 2 timing components. So it's not a 321, it's a 322. Today what I want to work on is getting the transmission pulled out and then start tearing apart the coolant lines and whatever else, part of the harness and shit. Just leave the engine last. And tomorrow I'm going to finish pulling the engine out and then probably install my K-member and front bare brakes because I'm going max weight reduction on this car. So bare brake front and rear and K-member and everything else, the whole 9 yards. So today we're going to pull the trans out and then start disconnecting shit off the engine. So let's get started. I just put the jack stands underneath the car, left and right, get up in the air, and then let's get the trans out. Which I could get the top 2 bolts right here since my manifold's pulled off already. You see them right there. Okay, where we're at is we disconnected the harness as much as we could on from the top, driver side passenger, pulled out the battery in the box, and then I cut this piece here because I'm doing a battery relocation kit, and I'm just gonna run the wires through the fender all the way to the back. We now have all that disconnected, like I said in the last clip. These are all the bolts for the under tray. Hop underneath. The water is just from when I washed it. I pulled off the under tray. I'm doing the BMR K-member drag style, so I'm not going to be using under tray anymore. So the BMR K-member doesn't have these, so you can't bolt up the under tray. I'm going to make my own brackets to still use. I'm going to make my own brackets to basically support the bumper because I'm going to also run the BMR front crash bar. And without it, it's going to be able to push in and flex a lot, so I don't want that. So, yeah, I'm going to make my own brackets once the K-member is on. That's probably going to go on tomorrow, but, yeah, that's where we're at right now. I'm going to pull this tray off right here, which you don't need to do, but I am anyways because it's easy to do it, and then I can do my oil changes much easier. And then I'm going to pull the O2 extensions, fucking get out the drive shaft and everything else, and then drop the trans. All right, the trans is pulled out. Drive shaft and everything is obviously out. I'm not putting that one back in. I have a one piece going back in from the drive shaft shop, a 3.5 inch. And right now, engine is only on the motor mounts and brackets. Still have to pull off all the coolant lines and the rest of the harness. Wraps down on the driver's side to the alternator and such. O2 sensors. Whatever else is on this side, I have to take off the AC compressor, disconnect it, and then I'm leaving the headers on, of course. There's some connections back here that have to get pulled. I'm not probably not gonna pull off right here. Pull it off right here on this end, wherever they route front to, and then drape them off to the side. That's it. So a few hours later, all the harness and coolant lines are all taken off and apart. The belt's off, both belts. I have my MMR plate on and it's ready to pull. Okay, so a lot has happened since the last clip. I had to pull the sway bar out with the engine still in the car and whatnot. There was still one harness piece connected right here, which would be this clip right there. And then I had to take out the sway bar because I couldn't get these to disconnect, and the sway bar goes above that. But the BMR K-member that I'm using ditches the sway bar, so I'm not using the sway bar at all. Getting out wasn't too bad. It was just a lot of like adjusting the clock of the engine, how it was going to tilt out. Headers kept hitting back here just a little bit, nothing crazy, got it out. And then now while the engine's out, we're going to have to put it on this engine stand, but the bolts that are going to go through these brackets into the I guess you could say the block, they're too short. So here's an example. See how only maybe 5 threads come out? I want another 1/2 inch to inch to come out, just to be safe, because otherwise it's only going to be in probably like that, and when I could just go all the way through. So make a parts run and then be back. But this is how it's sitting right now. All the engine is out. We're going to also do the BMR K-member. It'll be easy with the engine out because I could just use some tie downs on the power steering rack, tie it off to the frame or whatever so it stays up, and then just unbolt it all. I'm also going to do my bare brake conversion while it's all apart. All that has to come off the camber is this here, and then these two right there. Boom. And the camber will drop. But it's easier said than done, so we'll see. This is why it's been so hard for me to do YouTube, because I just get sidetracked working on the car. Right now we pulled out the stock K-member, so right now we just have a strap holding up and supporting the power steering rack. And so right now we're going to put in and assemble the BMR drag K-member. Look at the difference, like stock and BMR, huge difference. Like we're completely ditching these back arms, and then I don't have the bracket for the sway bar because I'm not running one, so this is the drag style. Got to put in the bushings and whatnot for the motor mounts, and the power steering rack sat right there before, right? Yeah, right there. And now it's gonna sit right there, I think. Those two. And then I have to put in the bigger bolts. This is one right here. This is the other. And that's gonna hold in the power steering rack. So let's do it. Okay, so new day. I have my new K-member in, as well as the bare front brakes. And then I basically just detailed my engine bay right now. I pulled off all that heat shielding, whatever. That I already have emptied out because I'm doing my battery relocation. And I just used a bunch of degreaser and a brush and scrubbed every little nook and cranny. So along the frame rails, under the brake booster, the firewall. I got my power steering rack nice and clean, like nothing whatsoever. AC compressors all nice and clean and underneath. Obviously new K-member, so I don't gotta clean that very much. Scrubbed up all in here, literally every nook and cranny. Fuse box underneath and around, all mint. So this is where we're at right now. Monster truck ride height. I think that's gonna be it for today's video. I'm gonna do this in a couple parts, however many parts it takes. I'm just gonna do it like that. Probably 2 or 3, maybe 4 max, but yeah, that's gonna be it for this one. So car's prepped and clean and ready for everything to be thrown back in. So the next video will probably be throwing in some of my suspension mods in the back, like my Viking shocks and the diff bushing. So that might be next video. So thanks for watching.